imported material, not locally used material. Things are changing and not for the good always.
Yes, you're right. Things are changing. I think, in fact, it's not necessary to use so much glass. I think there also, as architects, sometimes we get influenced by the international architecture. And it is again interesting that, you know, when you have green ratings coming in for sustainability, in fact, situation is they give you extra marks for using a good quality glass. You know, my question is, why use glass at all?
Right.
Just use the right quantity. You know, there itself you become sustainable. So from that point of view,
but is there a demand? I mean, to architects, when you get a client, whether it's a developer or an individual client, is there that thought that, look, we need to create energy efficient, water efficient buildings?
There is a strong thought, but amongst the developers and, you know, in real estate, the thought is more limited to how much money you are saving in the capital expenditure.
Okay.
While in the properties like hotels or where you are going to operate that property, there it is more deeper. You know, it goes to the extent of saving on the cost of operation of the building.
Okay.
That is as far as energy is concerned.
All right.
But when it comes to environment and, you know, really issues to do with environment in depth, the exposure amongst the clients, I would say, is limited.
Limited.
It's not that widespread.
Nayan, why is that so?
You know,
why are developers not going beyond what they save on capital?
That's not actually completely true. If you look at a place like Gurgaon, the government has made it mandatory, you know, to provide things like water harvesting, water recycling, solar water heating, solar electricity. In a place like Noida, they're giving some extra FAR, you know, if you
FSI, 5% extra.
5% extra if you do, you know, some of these steps. So I think it's got more to do with the perception of the developer towards marketing his product also, because a lot of consumers are nowadays, you know, there is a little bit of a buzz around. Then you should buy something which gives you a less electricity cost, or which is more efficient in the long run. So developers are understanding that need and sort of trying to address that need. But more than that, if you want to really want developers to get actively involved in sustainability, there need to be some sort of incentives. You know, I'll do it out of my own heart and will that, you know, I want to save the environment, but you can't expect it out of 10,000 developers.
Okay, Pao, everything in India needs an incentive. So you should also be incentivized to make more efficient bathroom fittings which conserve water, isn't it?
Yes, I think that when we talk about sustainability in India is mostly linked with water, water consumption, water, how many water do we need to run the flushing mechanism, or how many water we need to clean our hands, no? So what we have seen from our perspective is that the end user, even whether it's a constructor or builder or a retailer, we have seen more and more let's say demand on, for instance, dual flushing mechanism. This is a clear way to save water.
Dilip Puri, I mean, the industry that you are in has to completely have turned sustainable by now. There is such a long-term benefit on every front: energy conservation, water conservation, recycling, waste management, and I'm assuming that all big players like yours would be building with 100% sustainable principles, or am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right, and here's the point. I mean, in the hotel business, sustainability actually translates into better bottom lines. It's all about being efficient. Starwood, we have what we call our vision 30-20 by 20, which is 30% reduction of utility cost and 20% reduction of water by the year 2020, and each year that's measured by hotel, by market across the world, and that kind of sets us figuring out who's really doing well on the sustainability front. So the great thing with the hotel business is that we see sustainability transferring into more profits, and isn't that how it should really be?
Okay, all right. So Akshat, it's good to hear. I mean, we got a consumer perspective. Developers are also asking, there is a pull from the consumer on more sustainable products, simply better bathroom fittings. Then you also have hotels which have global standards set now. So if you were to look at urban spaces today and say that what are the 2 or 3 crucial missing things which all architects, developers, hoteliers have to focus on, what would it be?
I think I want to take a step back. Sustainability is a dynamic concept, and it's linked to your resources, it's linked to consumption, it's linked to fundamental needs and wants. And there is a difference between compliance and striving for excellence in a particular field.
Absolutely.
Right? And you, in order to achieve a truly sustainable setup, you must try and achieve some degree of excellence. And how do environments fundamentally engage with sustainability? It's air, it's water, light, materials.
Materials and waste.
Yes, and waste management.
Yeah, correct.
But what about also, there is also an angle of cultural sustainability, right? So if you just keep taking from the West and planting that here, you'll eventually end up with an aesthetic or an expression that is very Western.
Nitin, your point of view in terms of a couple of things which we can immediately do as a nation to drive better workmanship.
To drive better workmanship, well, honestly, there is no immediate solution to this problem. You know, it's very deep-rooted. Skill development has to be done.
Skill development,
that
absolutely.
is, and there, as I've been experiencing, and I've been discussing with a lot of my co-professionals, if you notice, most of our youngsters don't want to do a blue-collar job. You know, they rather get trained in some computer course.
But that's because there's so much disparity. We don't have respect for labor. Secondly, the income disparity. Income disparity is so huge between, let's say, a plumber in this country and a person who's sitting in the office and just typing data, though the skills required for a plumber are much bigger.
Maybe, maybe not. You know, that's this income disparity may be disappearing.
May have disappeared.
You know, because if you don't have plumbers, they are going to demand their price. So, income disparity because of shortage will, you know, soon disappear.
Okay.
I think it's more the social disparity. That you want to be known as a sales representative or as a computer expert, and you don't want to be known in the society as a carpenter or as a plumber, you know, or as a mason. While, you know, that is what you need.
It's a very interesting point you brought in, and that's the reason why you find so much excellence in workmanship internationally. You call an electrician, you call a plumber, he does a job, you never have to worry about it. But in India, you may be paying 500 rupees every visit or even lower, but you will have to call him back 5 times, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you how we solved the problem. We actually, for one of our projects, imported about 200-300 labor from Dubai, Indian people working there, and they trained the rest of the 1,000 people on the site. And we set up a little bit of a training center, so every afternoon during lunch hours, they would train people, you know, each other. And that's how they've sort of evolved. We've given them proper housing facilities, we've given them buffet facilities, you know, proper respect for the labor, skill development, and they're doing wonders.
And I think that's the crux of the matter, isn't it, Dilipuri, that we have to give them social recognition. Workmanship remains the biggest challenge, according to me. Automatically, urban spaces are reducing, so all developers, all architects are designing smaller for smaller spaces and utilizing space. Sustainability is also something which is finding its way slowly and steadily into design, but it's just the quality of workmanship, and there is no going around it except that you have to accord a lot of social respect to that kind of work.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just want to make a point on sustainability and how you could do it differently. I think everybody's made a good point, but you have to make sustainability participative. In hotels, you'll always find that we've begun to reward our customers for sustainability. You see that in airlines, right? Today, if you go and check in through a kiosk, you get 500 extra mileage points. I think that is a real need in India, where as developers, architects, hoteliers, we understand sustainability. We are educated, we know it. Very often what happens is that a lot of our customers are ignorant of it. Until you build that entire culture of us being sustainable collectively, it'll never work. I might put up signs in my hotel rooms which say, you know, if you want to reuse your towel, hang it up and we'll reuse it. But actually, why are we doing that, and what difference does it make? As we are educating our guests and our customers, we are finding that the entire momentum building up on sustainability is increasing so rapidly. Today we have people who book functions with us and say, please make sure there are no plastic bottles or tables. So that's the way in which sustainability has to be built up, and we have a big role to play in, I wouldn't say educating, but collectively recognizing that we have to participate together, whether they're homeowners, whether they're hotel users, whether they're operators, whether they're developers, in making this kind of more of a revolution. And I think things will happen faster that way as well.
Right. Dilip Puri, thank you very much for joining in. I'm afraid we'll have to wrap out. We have touched upon most of the important points today. Power Bello, thank you very much. Akshat, Nitin and Nayan, Raheja. Pleasure having you gentlemen to join us on this discussion. And of course, we will keep highlighting as media. It's also our job to keep highlighting outstanding examples of sustainability. And we promise you, we will get you more stories. We believe it's time for a new kind of development actually, collaborative, locally adaptable. That's what some of the points which came about, and of course sustainable. We hope that we bring you more and more of these discussions and stories and drive a larger social consciousness towards it, and not just remain in this studio. Take it outside of the studio and have people adapt it. Thank you very much for joining me on this discussion. Pleasure.